LGBTQ gender identity terms that you might not have heard of before, but I will explain to you. What is gender fawn? Someone who is gender fawn experiences fluctuations in gender, but never fluctuates to any feminine gender. For example, they could fluctuate from feeling a masculine gender, an unaligned gender, or a genderless gender, such as agender, but they never fluctuate to any feminine genders, such as demigirl, female, anything in between that, like Libra feminine. Some people consider it to be a non-feminine subset of gender fluid, so you just fluctuate to everything apart from feeling feminine. This is the other side of gender fey, which I explained in a previous video. Now, just like gender fey, there is a subset to this which is called gender fawnit. Someone who is gender fawnit experiences fluctuations in gender and can experience feminine genders, but never feels fully female. This is the opposite to gender feyer. Here's a short paragraph describing it. You can pause the video.
Yeah. Sure, step aside, kid. We're not.
So, you know, something I've been thinking about a lot lately that I'm getting really sick of, and I'm sure a lot of other queer and neurodivergent and gender non-conforming people understand this feeling a lot, but I'm getting really sick of my very existence inviting challenge. I'm a very non-confrontational person. I don't want to fight about things. I don't want to argue about things. For the most part, I think so long as people aren't hurting other people, do whatever you want to do. As long as you're not hurting anyone else, do whatever you want to do. That's my big belief. And so I don't necessarily believe in arguing over things like personal identity and presentation. So I don't really think a lot about how I present because I don't think there's any point in putting extra time into it or arguing about it. However, just the way I look and the way that I act in spaces that I want to be in invites challenge, and people ask me unwanted questions and make derogatory, unwelcome comments and suggestions and give advice that will not help anywhere I go, and I just know that, and I have to calculate that into the emotional cost of any event, and that's exhausting, and I'm really sick of it.
That's not natural. For the love of God, why can't you people just be normal? Oh.
This is my normal. Queer is my normal. Trans is my normal. Disabled is also my normal. Pretending to be your version of normal is not healthy for me. Honoring my normal is the only way to live naturally. You should try it sometime. Because trust me, queer, trans, disabled people are not the only ones being traumatized by the limitations and the expectations of normal. The universe made you to light up. So light up.
What gender am I? Really? I know what you're trying to do. You didn't do your gender at home yourself, and I am telling the teacher.
If you're cis and you're even thinking of talking to me, you better disclose that. Because if you don't, that's wrong. I need to know all of your private medical information and history before you talk to me because it's my business. If you've ever slept with a trans person as a cis person and you didn't tell them you're cis, you're disgusting.
The LGBTQ community would feel when they find out that the earliest known mention of the rainbow is actually...
Wow, so this champion of God is basically saying that LGBT people are going to be so pissed when we discover that the first mentioning of the rainbow was in Abrahamic religious texts. First of all, even if that was true, I don't give a fuck, my dude. It's mine now. I stole the rainbow from God. Suck it. But also, this is going to be the genesis of your motherfucking education because you're going to learn something today. Your religion's not the oldest in the world, it's just the one that kills the most. In Hindu mythology, Indra, the god of war and thunder, uses the rainbow to shoot arrows of lightning. In Mesopotamian mythology, which predates yours by the way, the farmer god Ninurta defended Sumer with a rainbow crown. In Hawaiian beliefs, Anuenue is the rainbow maiden. That's a woman in case you're unfamiliar. Native American beliefs, African beliefs. This is a perfect example of Mayo monkey epistemology. We don't give a fuck about other cultures because they're not white.
Hi bestie, let's have a chat. Are you a non-binary individual who's constantly questioning whether or not they're a trans man, but, you know, they're just convinced, you know, they're non-binary. They just have to be non-binary. I have a question for you that's probably gonna fucking throw you through a loop, because it threw me through one. If you were born a cis man, would you still be non-binary? If you were born a cis man, would you still identify as non-binary? No? Hi, my name is Everett, the unofficial official welcoming committee of the Trans Man in Denial Club. Come on. Come on.
I get asked quite a bit to talk about the scientists that took bone marrow and turned it into sperm cells. And does this mean that we can finally just get rid of all men? I'm like, yeah, sure, fine, that sounds super interesting, but you're missing the coolest part. Because a few years after that study was done, there was another one where scientists in, I believe, Japan took some skin cells from mice and turned those skin cells into egg cells, and then fertilized those egg cells and produced from them a full litter of healthy, viable, fertile new mice. If we can produce functional sperm and eggs in a laboratory, imagine what reproductive biology is going to look like in the next 10 years. Imagine women that are past menopause that can now have kids again. Imagine men that were born sterile that can now have children of their own. Imagine the same-sex couples that can now produce their own biological children together. And most excitingly, imagine a beautiful new world where the phrases because you're a boy or because you're a girl count for nothing.
Salve! Grazie a Ramones TikTok, ex-quo. Gay TikTok. Skis a Roma, ten vobis. Non curamos. Speakes nostro imperator. Carpe diem. Utor. Come in Roma. Wale!
Okay, so a lot of cis people in my comments were not understanding my issue with people calling me she, her pronouns, so I just wanted to explain. So for the sake of explaining this, let's say that pronouns are like food. Now, I like foods of all varieties, and I will try foods of all varieties and would like to switch it up. However, if we say that she, her pronouns are a dessert, I don't want to be eating a dessert 24/7 for every single meal of the day. Especially if I went to a restaurant, told the waiter I want a starter, a main and a dessert, and they came out with 3 plates of just desserts, I would want my starter and main. And if the waiter turned around and said, oh, well, we gave you 3 desserts because you look like you've got a sweet tooth, I'd get a little bit annoyed about that, especially because I specified that I wanted a starter, a main, and a dessert, not just a dessert. It's not unreasonable for me to ask people to use varied pronouns when referring to me because they offer my comfort at the end of the day, not yours.
Tell me you're trans without telling me you're trans. Here's mine.
So I don't really hang out with a lot of cis-het people. Can I ask you some really personal questions? So you were born with that name? Oh, your parents gave it to you. And you kept it? Oh my god, cute little small cis bean. Oh my god, little sissy bean. So cute, small. So what does your genitalia look like? Oh my god, yes queen. Go she, her, go. Go she, her, go. Aw, little gentle him. Aw, what a cute little gentle him. This is what y'all sound like for real.
Listen, you can't be homophobic and also be entertaining, because when you go out there and get sun-kissed by your boy Apollo, hella gay. Not to mention now you're chocked full of vitamin D. That's freaking gay as fuck.
So in light of finding out that Scott Cawthon donated a lot of money to a bunch of anti-LGBTQ Republican candidates, the video that I was watching that informed me of this, half of the comment section was saying, oh, I can't believe that Miku created Five Nights at Freddy's, and then half the comments were saying, no, Markiplier created Five Nights at Freddy's. My absolute galaxy brain best friend gave me the best answer to this. Mikuplier.
If you're a FNAF fan right now and you're part of the LGBTQ community, you're probably pretty upset right now, justifiably so, about the Scott Cawthon drama. So here's my one little idea to maybe make something good out of the situation. I designed these FNAF Pride stickers and I ordered them, so they are now up on my Etsy. 100% of the proceeds will go to the Trevor Project, which is an LGBTQ plus foundation and charity. Yeah, they're pretty cute. They've got Vanny, and I'll add more characters and more flags if people like these. So go check out my Etsy in my bio.
I'm sorry, I was looking for the mailman.
Oh, what? Are you saying I'm not a mailman? Is that what you're trying to say? I'm not male? I'm not a man? Is that what you're getting at?
Are you crying?
Why do lesbians dress vintage? You see, I've been thinking about this for a while now, and I think I have come to a pretty decent conclusion. I think queer women are reclaiming an era that would have swept us under the rug, thrown us into psychiatric wards, and metaphorically burnt us at the stake. I mean, we see this in lots of groups that have been discriminated against throughout history, with slurs that we have reappropriated to use in our everyday language, kind of like how we use the word queer and LGBTQ. And so no, I don't dress like this to stay modest, and I don't dress like this because I'm old-fashioned or conservative. I dress like this because I'm reclaiming something that should have belonged to everybody in the first place. So, next time you see a cute little vintage lesbian on TikTok, maybe follow her.
My son just came home from school and was like, "Dad, is it okay to kiss another boy?" And I was like, "Fuck no." And he was like, "Is it because you hate gay people?" And I was like, "No, it's because you're 8. And the only thing you should be using your mouth for is these Burger King pancakes I just bought for dinner. As soon as you turn 16, you can play lip guitar with whoever you want. But right now, you need to get these pancakes, homie."
If gender identity clinics in the UK keep seeing new patients at the rate that they currently are, the waiting time for a first appointment at a London UK adults GIC is going to be 26 years. That's not a mistake. 26 literal years for a first appointment to get seen by a specialist in the UK. That's currently what the waiting list is estimating if we do not speed up the rate at which we see trans people. The gender identity system in the UK for seeing trans people is fundamentally fucked up, and little fixes aren't going to be enough. We need to overhaul the entire fucking system.
This is not very festive! This is not Christmas! This doesn't feel like Yuletide! Oh, well, this kind of does, because it has, lights on it. But this is not...
For whatever reason, there's a lot of trans women that own these socks. I do not own them. I've never really understood the appeal until I saw a very long thread on Twitter of TERFs complaining specifically about those socks. One of them even said they got uncontrollably angry every time they saw the socks. And now, I suddenly want the socks.
All right, Cindy, what do lesbians cook for dinner?
Oh, Jesus, what?
They don't, they eat out.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Go away, buddy. Where are you going? Oh, no, not you again.
What do you call a lesbian dinosaur?
I don't know.
A lickalotopus.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What kind of tree fits in your hand?
I don't know.
A palm tree. All right, last one, Cindy. What do lesbians and turtles have in common?
I don't know.
They both choke on plastic.
Hi, I'm Ellie. I'm a conversion therapy survivor, and let's talk about how you can effectively support conversion therapy survivors this Pride Month. Yes, I know it's already the 15th, which means we're halfway through Pride Month this year, but there's still so much you can do, and there's so much you can do year-round. You can help change people's mindsets about LGBT identities so less people are sent to conversion therapy each year. You can stop making jokes about conversion therapy because they actively harm our community. You can reach out to your congresspeople and senators, both at state and federal levels, to help ban conversion therapy in more states and across the country. And if you're in a different country, reach out to your politicians there too. You can stop eating at Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A does a lot to keep conversion therapy going in the United States. And you can listen to the voices of myself and other conversion therapy survivors here on the internet. And if there are conversion therapy survivors in your local community, listen to them as well. We have really important voices.
My pronouns are they and them, because I'm non-
I don't give a shit about the video. I'm going to use it as an example for neo-pronouns.
They are still hung up on they, them. That's how far back their mindset is. It doesn't matter what pronoun set you use. As long as it deviates from what they think is normal, you will always be the blue-haired liberal in their eyes. You will always be the freak shit that they step on whenever they can. Why are y'all so insistent on being palatable to the cishet white man society? It's harmful to the trans community. Being trans is harmful to the trans community. Your existence is harmful to the trans community. They can't even wrap their head around the fact that gender is a social construct. What makes you think that neopronouns are going to be the reason why you have bullets in your back? The lengths you will do to invalidate somebody else's experience just because you don't fucking understand it. That frame of thinking is what makes the oppressor. Don't become them.
So in a YouTube video today, I talked about 5 misconceptions about being non-binary, and I thought might as well bring these to TikTok. Hopefully after hearing these, you can feel a little bit more validated about yourself. So the first misconception is that all non-binary people use they, them pronouns. That's not true. Non-binary people use all sorts of different pronouns, and pronouns aren't attached to the concept of being non-binary. The second misconception is that you have to have dysphoria in order to be non-binary, which isn't true. There's a lot of people who are non-binary who experience no dysphoria and are super comfortable in their bodies. Third is that you had to have experienced some sort of signs from your childhood, which isn't true. If you had no signs growing up, or maybe your gender changed from then to now, that's valid. Fourth is that you have to be white, skinny, androgynous, and assigned female at birth, which just is not true. Non-binary encompasses people of color. It encompasses people who are different body types, people who are assigned male at birth, intersex people. It's a broad term that shouldn't be reduced back down to a binary. And fifth is that it's just a gateway to being transgender, which obviously is not true. It's like saying that bisexuality is a gateway to being gay. So you're valid no matter what.
How come gay people get a whole month but military and veterans only get 2 days? Can we just stop weaponizing veterans to promote homophobia? Because if you actually cared about the military like you say you do, you would know that the entire month of May is Military Appreciation Month, and you'd also know that the month of November is for veterans. Also, we get multiple days throughout the year. If you actually cared, you'd do your own research, but you just want an excuse to be homophobic. The only people I ever hear make comments like these are not in the military, nor have they served a day in their life. You choose to stay silent about military celebrations all month long, but the second Pride Month starts is when you choose to complain? Whose fault is it that it's not talked about enough? Your own. Most people in the military and veterans don't actually care. We get benefits and free stuff all year long. We don't need any of the extra stuff. So can we please just stop romanticizing the military? Do you actually care about the homeless, mentally ill veterans that are on the street right now? And if you claim you do, what are you doing to make a difference, Susan? So it goes to show that it was never about your respect for the military. You just want to demonize pride.
You can't let transgender women use the women's bathroom because men are just going to use that as an excuse to go in there and assault women. So you agree, men are the problem. What? In the scenario you've created, it's not transgender women that are the problem, it's cisgender men. So you agree, men are the actual problem here. But, I mean, well, so why exactly do you think it's okay to punish transgender people for the hypothetical actions of cisgender men? Look, are you gonna let me examine women's private parts or not?
Here's the part that no one really tells you about being trans. When you come out, your wardrobe doesn't just like magically switch over, and women's clothing is so expensive. Like, okay, as a man, you can just like walk into any Walmart with a $10 bill and come out with enough underwear for the next 3 years. But as a woman, $10 wouldn't even buy you half a thong, which also makes no sense. Like, why am I paying 10 times the money for a quarter of the fabric?
Just a reminder that biphobia is just homophobia repackaged. I will say it every day if y'all make me, but I am tired of fucking saying it.
My pride flag is red, white, and blue.
Ladies and gentlemen, in honor of Pride Month, I'd like to announce that I am coming out as French. Please refer to me by my preferred pronouns of hon hon.